Hey guys, in this tutorial we're going to be going over how to kind of do some more advanced fixes to certain interior things. So what we're going to be fixing in this is this particular cabinet in this kitchen here. If we zoom out, it has a dishwasher panel that the interior designer was able to put it in there and get it to stay temporarily just to not have an open spot. But there's supposed to be a dishwasher here, and there's no toe kick. So this is quite distracting when you view the final image. It's kind of just this dark black hole, and then the cabinet is kind of sitting in there a little bit funny. It's not really flush as far as the lines go. So we're gonna go ahead and just duplicate this layer just to have a little safety before we start tweaking everything. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use the pen tool to just select around this cabinet here. I can go a little bit wide because I don't mind having a little bit of a reveal around the top edge there. But we're just going to go ahead and select that. We're going to click Paths, hold down Control or Command on a Mac, select that. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to feather it. So I'm going to go back to my polygonal lasso tool, right click on the selection and feather by just 1 pixel just to make it a little softer. So now what we'll do is we're going to right click and layer via copy. So now if we go to the layers, you can see if I turn everything off, we just have that layer by itself. So now what we want to do is we're going to hit Control T or Command T on a Mac to manipulate that selection that we just made. So what I want to do is I'm going to pull this corner up like so, pull this corner up and over just a tad, pull this corner over, and then for this one we're just going to have to leave that for now and do some fixes on the layer below it. So if I toggle before and after, we're just manipulating that cabinet to where it's got a nice reveal on those edges. So now what we have to do is just fix this under reveal and then do the same thing for this toe kick here. We're going to basically duplicate this toe kick and shift it over here underneath this cabinet layer. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and do the same thing here. We're going to go to the layer underneath it, get our pen tool again. We're just going to go ahead and select this whole entire thing without selecting any of that cabinet above. You want to get a little bit of that dark shadow that it's casting as well. Okay, so go back to Paths, hit Control or Command, and that's going to select it. When you click, we'll go lasso tool, right click, feather by 1 pixel, right click again, layer via copy. So now we've got that new layer that you can't see because it's hidden right now. Well, it's not hidden, it's just there's stuff below it. Okay. So with that layer selected, hit Control T or Command T on a Mac, and we're just going to go ahead and size it up to where it's going in the correct spot. And I think I want to go all the way and cover up that black edge over there as well. So let's go right around there. I'm hitting Control on the PC or Command on a Mac to only select those layers right there. And then let's see. Let's make sure we're not getting any overlap on that island there. Okay, so that's looking somewhat good. What we need to do is now merge these layers down below. Control E or Command E on a Mac. So what I want to do is I'm going to start just brushing in manually. So we're going to do this clone stamp tool. We're going to hit Alt to copy. And we're going to turn our opacity down a little bit here to like 28. You want to make sure the edges are lined up. So if you started clicking like that, it's going to have those white highlights from the wood above it there. So make sure those edges are lined up. And we're just going to kind of blend that in. Let's go a little bit smaller for this edge. And we can just start blending that in a little bit. Okay, so that's starting to look good. Now, the last thing I want to fix is we've got this cabinet edge is good over there, but underneath, I want to have this reveal go all the way down. So I'm going to do the same thing, just copy that reveal there. Make sure that you're on that bottom layer, not on the top layer. And we're just going to go ahead and just kind of click down. And then when you get close to this edge, you got to be really careful because you don't want it to go into that bottom section there. So zoom way in, make it smaller. Okay, there we go. So that fixed that toe kick as well as that cabinet to where it's got a nice smooth reveal. So if we toggle these off now, that's before, that's after. So that's one way to fix kind of imperfections like that, is basically just selecting the area that you want to duplicate and then copy it, and then you can manipulate it with a transform tool. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Photographers, if you could learn one thing about architectural and interior photography, what would that be? When I first started shooting interiors, the main thing I struggled with was learning how to properly light the scene so that the natural colors and tones of the space looked accurate, then learning the editing techniques needed to seamlessly blend all of those layers together for a natural, editorial final image. Today I'm going to show you my top 5 tips for taking better architectural and interior photos. Tip number 1 is embracing the shadows. Shadows are what give an image depth, texture, and atmosphere. When you attempt to remove shadows completely, you lose dimension, highlight textures, and mood. By balancing highlights and shadows accurately, you'll create a much more visually pleasing image. Tip number 2 is maintaining a suitable distance away from furniture. Positioning your camera too close to furniture can distort perspectives, limit composition options, and compromise the overall representation of the space. Maintaining a suitable distance away from furniture ensures a more accurate, balanced, and appealing portrayal of the interior. Tip number 3 is to avoid shooting too wide. Shooting excessively wide can lead to distorted proportions, exaggerated spaces, and unintended inclusions of unwanted elements. Photographers looking to work in the architectural and interior design space need to rethink composition. Instead of using super wide focal lengths like 14 to 16 millimeter, try using 24 to 50 millimeter focal lengths to compress the background. Focus on highlighting architectural details and vignettes of design elements instead of shooting the entire space. Tip number 4 is to make sure you're not oversaturating your colors. Oversaturating your colors, especially blue and yellow tones, leads to an unnatural appearance, an overall inaccurate representation of the color, and distracts away from interior design elements. Striking a balance in color adjustments is essential to maintain accuracy, which is crucial in this industry. Tip number 5 is to make sure you're not overdoing it with the clarity and sharpening sliders. Maxing out the clarity and sharpening sliders while editing architectural and interior photos can lead to a cartoonish or artificial appearance. The clarity slider creates noise and graininess, as well as introduces moire and makes highlights look muddy. And the worst offender of all is the unpleasant halos caused by the overuse of these tools. A nuanced approach is essential to maintain the image's natural look and professional quality. If you need more help with your architectural and interior photography, learning my workflow of how to frame the shot, light the scene, edit the images, and the business behind photography, check out our course. Thanks for watching. In the first module, we'll dive into the fundamental principles of interior and architectural photography.
you'll understand why your role is pivotal in the commercial, residential, and hospitality market, and how your lens can be the key to unlocking a space's true potential and a valuable asset to your client's marketing.
Module 2 is all about the tools of the trade. We'll explore the must-have equipment from cameras to lenses to lighting that make your photos truly shine. You'll discover how to create captivating images, whether you're shooting interiors or exteriors. Module 3 is going to get you up to speed on the best camera settings for capturing accurate, clear, and well-exposed images. Then in Module 4, we'll go over how to assess natural light as well as practical lighting. We'll then cover how to introduce additional lighting with flash to create dynamic and beautiful images that best showcase a space.
Now let's talk about composition. Module 5 will teach you how to frame shots that tell a story. From capturing the flow of a room to highlighting architectural details, you'll master the art of composition in interior and architectural photography.
In Module 6, we'll guide you through the editing process. You can do everything absolutely perfect during the photo shoot, but if you don't know how to correctly edit those images, it will all be in vain. Learn how to enhance your images, correct color, and create stunning photos that set your portfolio apart. We'll show you how to composite multiple ambient exposures with flash layers and then turn them into the final deliverable image that will wow your clients.
You'll be able to use this course to provide a service that's so valuable to your clients that they're willing to pay a premium for the photos you're delivering. Photographing interiors, both residential and commercial, is one of the best niches in the photography world to earn a full-time income.
We'll dive into the marketing strategies tailored for interior and architectural photographers. You'll discover how to build a standout portfolio, attract clients, and create additional income by licensing images that you've already captured. If you're ready to position yourself as the go-to photographer in your market, this is going to get you there.
But the real magic happens when you put it all together. Join us for Mastering Interiors and Architectural Photography, and not only will you gain the skills to create stunning images, but you'll also be getting a behind-the-scenes look at my very own six-figure business and the secrets to taking your business to the next level.